in this state and they don't know what happened. It's very much the same thing. A little more abstract, but it's very much the same thing. Most people that were sexually abused look at sex differently. How can they not? If you trust a person and you find that they abuse that trust, what's it do for you? Never mind a child putting their trust in somebody and then losing it to a person that they thought they loved. I mean, even a close family member or whatever. So the pain will always be there, whether you deal with it or not, or how you can perceive it or handle it. It takes a strong person to do that, and many women can't. So they either become super heavy and forget about life, or they go into this state of drugs or anything else to hide the feelings. Talking to an average person might not help. Certain women could help. I mean, there's a few people I know out there. One is one of the most incredible people that I know because she works with women almost every day of her life. And that's all she did for I knew her for 26, 27, around 27 years, somewhere around there. I'm bad with the numbers. But her life's dedicated to it, period. But she's doing something real, working with these people that need it. And they do need some kind of help. And if a person's in that pain, they need to get help if they can't deal with it. And you don't go to your regular doctor or person out there because they're not going to give you anything other than medicine. And the medicines they give you have no clue how they work because they don't know how they really work either. They keep changing them until they find one that kind of makes you dumb. And as long as you stay dumb, they don't care. But dealing with life is hard enough without serious problems to have in the background of your life. So this medicine woman that I studied with for 26 years, I realized how bad it is. And her classes, whether it was 25 people, 50 people, or 75 people, she was always hardcore like I am at certain things, and she would say, I want you all to be honest. How many had some form of abuse in their lifetime? And everybody would raise their hand in every class all the time. So it's like, is it just luck? No, it means most people are going through it at some level. Whether they admit it or not is a different story. So, why I'm bringing Bill Cosby into this picture, because this other case that I'm going to talk about is in court right now, and President Trump's defending the male, obviously, saying he has an incredible character. Really? Listen to what his friends are saying about him in school. It's crazy what he said and how he acted. Now, I'm going to go through this back, but when he said he never drank to the point where he didn't know what he was doing. Really? How many drunks say that? Every single drunk. The ones that are peeing on themselves, sitting on a street corner or whatever. And they know what they're doing. When they're taken home, what am I doing home? How did I get home? How did my clothes come off? How did my clothes get on? How did this? How whatever? Well, no person getting drunk knows when they're drunk, no matter what they say. So for him to say that was pretty ludicrous. For him to say that he was never in that state. When you listen to the things around him and what they're saying, what he said and how he acted. But what contradicts what he said, he goes, well, we all did stupid things that we regret. We all did? I didn't. Not like that, that's for sure. So, one word he says this and one word he says that. Now, he said he's going to take a lie detector test. She already did. So, we'll see how that's going to go. But, obviously, you got all these rich millionaire people attacking her, doing the best they can to attack her. And she's trying to get defense for herself, which they don't want to give her the right defense or the right kind of, no court system's fair if it's all men. If it's at least half men and women, it's fair enough, I think. But if it's all men, it's not fair. At least if it's mixed, you got a compassionate viewpoint versus an egotistical viewpoint all the time. All right. So that's happening today and tomorrow, and we'll see what goes down in the next 2 or 3 days. Now, I don't want to lose this part, so we're going to have to go back and forth here. Most people, when they're abused, search out help. So where do they go? To a psychic, to a healer, to a medicine woman, medicine man, a shaman, or even a religious speaker, well, one that thinks they are, for help. I know when I was going through my divorce, I went to a priest. Out of the clear blue sky, I said, well, let me talk to a priest. He might help me. And what he said to me, I kind of did, but I knew it was like ridiculous after I did it. He said, well, leave your house, find some place to stay. So I moved out of my house where my wife was, where her mother was, moved into a disgusting house which had hookers living upstairs and all kinds of stuff, and I was living there, pulling my hair out, listening to a couple country songs that I'm crazy, and a couple of different ones, and I said, yeah, I'm going crazy. I couldn't deal with that too long. But getting back to the point is, I listened to him. Why? I wasn't Catholic. I mean, I was Catholic. I studied Catholic beliefs for a while, but I never became a Catholic. And why I even listened to him, because I felt, at that time, I said, well, if he's a spiritual person, he must know. And then I studied 14 religions on top of spiritual truths and religions and teachings, found out 99% of them all have little truth about God, very little truth about soul. All right. I want to bring up two movies. Why? They fit into really important. The first movie I'm going to bring up is Death Wish 1. I went to see it when I'm trying to think how old, whatever. I didn't write the date down for that movie, but Charles Bronson was the person that played the guy. His family just gets attacked by robbers, and his wife and his daughter gets raped, one gets killed, the whole thing. Well, it drove my blood grew out of my head. I said, well, that's what I should do with my life. Be a evangelist and go after people that attack people. I mean, the movie made you feel that way. But guess what? For 3 to 4 months after that movie came out, crime dropped across the United States. There was a lot of evangelists coming out, going out and doing that. I'm not saying it's the right thing to do, but it worked for a short period of time. Now there's a new movie out, just the opposite. It's a woman. I guess she loses her son and everything, and she goes after the people. Revenge is not the solution to anything. I mean, if it was, it would be what we would do, but it's not the right thing. I think anything that helps a woman stick together is the right thing. Start fighting the laws is the right thing. Stop writing man's programmed ideas being forced upon us. Like I said, those 13 women that came out of the women that accused Cosby, that went around changing laws in states to make it right for them to become member when it happened. So, yeah, that's a movie that I still have in my mind to this day. I remember it in detail, what it made me feel like, what it made me want to do, and why. To me, there's only one super bad crime on this planet, and it's abuse. And it's usually sexual abuse to a woman. Men have a little bit more ability to defend themselves than women do. I can go into stories. My one friend was being attacked by a girl in a house, and she actually did something to him and everything else. But most men do not get raped. No matter what they say, they want it. And this whole thing about children in schools and having sex with their teachers, you know how many men want to have sex with every teacher they have? Is it right or wrong? Is it just? But who has to pay? The teacher? I was being seduced by my teacher in art school, in high school. Seriously. And she wanted me to go. We were going to the zoo, and she said, I have to stay with her. Well, I stayed with her for about 10, 15 minutes, and then I snuck into the monkey's cage with my friend, and we got away, and we ran around. The next day, she goes to me, I wanted you to stay with me. And she says, I'm going to fail you because of that. And I said, you can't do that. So the next day she tells the class, well, we were supposed to go to see nude women to draw them and men. Well, I guess it was just 2 women, but she says, I'm stopping that because we can't stay together and be blah, blah, blah. So for the next 2 months, I had to change my artwork with my friend. She failed him those 2 months, and she was passing me. I mean, vice versa. She was failing everything that she thought I did, and just the opposite for him. So at the end of the time, I said to her, look, and I stood up in front of the class, you know, I know you don't like me, but you failed him. You didn't fail me. She goes, what do you mean? I said, everything you put a star on was mine, and all those X's and everything else was his work. And then she brought me out after class and says, look, I'll pass you this year, but don't ever come back to my class again. But she asked me other things and stuff like that. I mean, I wasn't trying to have a relationship with my teacher, and it wasn't one of the teachers that I really wasn't in love with at any level. So it was not normal. Most men would probably try to get into it to get a higher grade with their teacher and everything else. But again, when government tells you what's right and wrong for you, or your mother and father tell you what's right and wrong for you, it's still taking away from who you are. And like I said, you can get abuse in many forms. Not allowing to be who you are is abuse at any level. Whether you want to be a doctor and they want you to be a boxer, you're a boxer and they want you to be a lawyer. I mean, anything they're forcing you to become or do. Relationships, well, you can't have that relationship. In certain religions, well, you have to marry her, period. I mean, some countries you have to marry little children. And I can go into a story I just heard on the news about a week ago. In the United States, it supposedly happened. I can't prove it. I'm not going to go into the story. But it was about a young person being forced to marry the rapist. So, again, what are we going to do about this? We need to change the laws. A rape is a rape. Period. Now, a good rape, a bad rape, a partial rape, it's ridiculous ideas that men create. Women don't. I mean, somebody gets abused like 10 times in a day. Well, it's just a rape. No, it was insanity, insane, and unjust and unfair. So, are we going to decide with the abused people or not? But we can find out if they're really telling the truth, or at least get a lot closer to the truth. Check the situation. Check the scene. Again, if the man takes her into a hotel room, he raped her, period. I'm not saying women once in a while go out the outside, want to marry a rich person or whatever the story is, but I can tell you the opposite, horrible stories, and I don't want to do it. I don't have that much time. And I want to get into a couple of things before the show ends. Now, okay, do you know Bill Cosby was supporting O.J. Simpson back in those days? Why? One man defends another. He's guilty, but so what? And then when a race defends a person, I was working for the phone company up in the office for 1 year. I worked outside 19. But I was up in the office, and it was O.J.'s final decision. And they said, okay, O.J. was acquitted. And the black people all stood up cheering. I said, does any one of those people know if he did it or not? Or care? Just because he's black and set free, that's a good thing? So, do I say I'm prejudiced? I say I'm real prejudiced. I'm prejudiced for the truth. If you're a liar, I'm prejudiced against you. If you're a liar, I'm prejudiced against you, period. Now, the other movie I want to get into, where time's going so fast, is The Accused. It was, how long ago? I guess it came out, the movie came out in 88. Jodie Foster was the girl that was raped and all that. It was about a bar. She went in, she was drinking, dancing, and 7 men pick her up, put her on a table, and 5 men rape her. Well, really, it was 4 men actually raped her, and 2 men that were saying, do it, do it, do it. And to make this incredibly horrible, it was in front of all the people in the bar. Now, I said, if I would have been there, it would have never happened that way.